Hello everyone, my name's FlareBlitzed here and welcome to the visual novel called Our Lovely Escape. This game is all about making video games with an all-female workforce, supposedly. And also, you have a choice in this game to either play as a male or female protagonist. But obviously, as you can tell by my voice, we're going with male. Please type your name below. I'll be called Flare. That'll be it, thank you very much. Here I am, it's another tedious morning at the office on another typical day of a week. Lovely. So hate you can hide. Say hate you can hide, yep. That's what I said. And escape we can save fast. So that's going to be very, very important. I wanted to get this game out a day earlier, but by the time it released it was just too late today for some recording. But here we are. So this is it, and we've got three lovely characters, Alexis, Lisa, and Mayu, which you'll meet in due time. The white logoed mug near the monitor has been sitting there since yesterday's coffee break, and the last minute notes scrawled on my notepad are still waiting for me. I've been looking forward to this game actually since the release of the demo, which I played to completion, which you can also check out as well on the channel, which I'm going to go over actually. I can't even remember how long it's been since I started working as a writer, maybe 5 or 6 months. Also, this game has lots of endings to it, I believe, like multiple endings per character. No one's really keeping count, but the theme of being a newly minted employee hasn't rubbed off on me yet. It's as if I'm still the new kid in school. Yes, you can see that screenshot save stuff a lot of times. Nothing bad, it's just thumbnail purposes. It's nothing I've experienced before, to say at least, the life of YouTubers. My co-workers have been welcoming so far, even towards an unassuming guy like me, who doesn't have much experience in making Otome games. I told you this game is all about making games, or anything interesting for that matter. It's not like I would have wanted to work in this industry, creating games for women of all things, if I had to pick, but I know I can't complain. As one of the few men in the studio, it's a miracle I got his job to begin with. Now it's how I make my living. Hello there, Flare. How are you on this? Gorgeous and pleasant morning? Hello, Alexis. Gorgeous and pleasant this time? Better than a rainy one, I suppose. Last week's downpour was pretty bad. I just got here. What about you? I'm fine. I came in a few minutes ago, so I'm about to boot up a computer. Right. So, did you finish writing that May section yet? Or are you still stuck on how the demon battle is supposed to go down? Not yet. I think I have a good idea about how to build things up before the action scene now, though. Missouri's afraid to be a burden to others, and Yuri acknowledges this but encourages Missouri to stand up for her beliefs. And then something about her trusting Missouri to assuage her self-doubts. Yeah, what do you think, Alexis? Oh, I think it sounds like a great idea. I mean, it's a fitting scenario for two girl pals, but I don't see why not. Best friends should trust each other after all, or I'd like to think so anyway. As long as you don't go off the rails and make them backstab each other, oh dear, during the battle or anything, which would be wild. By the way, I'd say you should be fine. Well, if you say so. Alexis noisily pops open a bag of chips before plopping a snack into her mouth. Oh dearie me. That's no good making all this noise and all this mess by the food. It's just dialogue, right? Like, it's nothing major. I'm sure Lisa will approve. Even if she doesn't, it's whatever, yeah. She knows you're still getting used to things. She'll help you fix it. Yeah, I guess you're right. Hold on, I'm just going to turn this music down just a little bit. Voice? I haven't heard any voices so far, so I'm looking forward to seeing when they appear. When haven't I been? I know how to make good games too. You can always ask me for advice. I briefly turned to my notepad to look over what we've established for the title's world building. The project I'm working on now is still early in development, but we have another title that's close to release. Although we haven't decided on this newer game's title yet and some of its key assets are still works in progress, I have a good feeling about it. It's a fancy Otome game that wrestles the idea of oppression and closed-mindedness, both tied together through the theme of love. Intending to resume our conversation, I look over my shoulder to find Alexis sweetly smiling at me. Her familiar, gentle smile begs for my attention. But you know, since you don't have your hands full at the moment... What do you mean? I'm always having my hands full at the moment. And don't go into that area. If it's not too much to ask, would you like to help me darken the outlines of some of my sketches? Alexis, I think we've been over this already in the demo. I think you're just so lazy. Pretty please? It won't take long, I promise. Just trace and go. And it'll be as easy as 1, 2, 3. And it's definitely not as hard as colouring between the lines. Well, if you're so adamant that it's not that difficult, then why don't you do the job that you are assigned to do? Even though Alexis comes around and asking me for help a lot, it feels difficult to say no to a smile like hers. But there's no harm in helping her this time around, not to mention that I don't want to come off as rude. No, but we keep being exploited by this scenario. Besides, as a relatively recent hire to the studio, I know that screen save stuff is annoying, but it just confirms to me that I've been able to save it. I should continue to help in any way that I can. Who knows? This may even turn out to be a good way to build rapport with my co-workers. Sure, I don't mind. Just let me know what I have to do. Alexis suddenly bursts into a cheery mood, gleefully raising both of her arms in excitement. Does this game have voice acting? I'm pretty sure it does. A few of her chips spill out of her bag and onto the floor, but the mess leaves her unfazed. Of course it does. She's far too upbeat, far too in the moment to notice that anything has gone amiss. Strangely enough, I don't care either. Alexis has a way of pulling people in. The way she laughs is contagiously satisfying. It's jaunty enough to brighten the room and compelling enough to ease my fatigue. Yay! You're the best, Flare. I know I can always count on you. Shut up. Don't rely on me too much, you know. Now, if you'll just follow me, we can slip by... Excuse me? What was that I just heard? Don't think I didn't overhear your little scheme to make others do your work again, Alexis. Oh dear, here comes Big Boss Lisa. Or was it Lissa? Oh boy, this can't be good. It never ends well when Lissa's angry like this. No compromises, no excuses. That's just how she is. The morning hasn't even started yet, and I'm already finding myself too worried to take a break. All because I have an employee who's too unproductive to do anything on her own. Do you think making game development is some kind of joke, Alexis? That you can manipulate others into doing your job just because you feel lazy every day? Whoa. Compelling. Do you realize what you're doing? You're blanking over all the time and effort I've put into the studio. Oh no. Yeah, you should be frightened. No, you have it wrong. I was only... Alexis, don't even start with me. This isn't the first time you've done this, and I suspect that it won't be the last either. Alexis shrinks back, her happy-go-lucky demeanour suddenly eclipsed by biting contempt. Lisa Vogia, manager, marketer, multitasker, and above all else, Otome mastermind. She's the head of game development, while we, her co-workers, serve as her hands. At least, that's what she constantly tells us. There's a death sentence for anyone who opposes her authority. Rarely will she ever budge to settle a difference. But that would go against her principles. Moreover, I don't know if it's possible to convince her if she's ever been in the wrong. For someone as serious and sharp as she is, I've always been afraid to dispute her word. With her arms crossed and dark hair tied up, Lissa shows an intimidating glare at Alexis. Alexis? I like to think that I've been quite reasonable with you, Alexis. Even when you started off on the wrong foot as a new hire, I was lenient to you. I gave you tips, and I left you with warnings. I even went out of my way to defend your fragrant misbehavior in board meetings. As manager of this studio, I've done all I can so you can succeed and be at your best. And this is your way of repaying me? After so many discussions, you still haven't learned from your mistakes. Yikes, Captain. How much longer do I have to wait until you get your act together, Alexis? I'm sorry. I'll try harder from now on. Harder isn't good enough, apparently. All you've given me so far are empty promises. Lisa pauses, covering her eyes before muttering something under her breath. It's not that difficult to put in the effort. I mean, why can't you be as ambitious and hardworking as Mayu for once? Is that seriously so much to ask? I turn to find Alexis looking defeated and very much at a loss for words. The bitter sting of disappointment is visibly eaten away at her. Okay, fine. I'm sorry. With nothing more to say, Alexis scurries back to her desk with her head downcast. Lisa finally turns to me. In her constant disapproval, it physically pains me to stare into her quiet, penetrating eyes. Yikes, what's going to happen now? Don't think you're off the hook either, Flare. Alexis's work isn't your responsibility too. Your passivity only encourages her to keep this up. She'll keep lazing around and asking others to do her bidding forever. Focus on your work. She needs to learn to do everything on her own. You're only accountable for the tasks I personally assign you, okay? Otherwise, what was the point of me hiring her? Does hiring people just to get them to tell others to do their work for them make sense to you? I guess not. Lisa pauses yet again. Seriously, get yourself together, Flare. I know you're better than this. I know I'm better than this, Lisa. I really need my cup of coffee now. In her frustration, Lisa takes a double take at the floor. Oh dear. Oh, and please clean this mess up. I know that it's most likely came from Alexis, but keeping the office clean is everyone's responsibility. Thanks. I honestly not in agreement, although I'm sometimes reluctant to admit it. I know Lisa's looking out for me too. Lisa briskly leaves my desk and heads towards the warm drink dispenser down the aisle. I grab a tissue out of a box and dump the potato chip crumbs into the trash bin. I feel bad for myself, but especially for Alexis, since I'm partially to blame for Lisa getting so angry. No, don't do that! I should check on Alexis. I head in the opposite direction for Lisa and sneak over to my co-worker's desk. Oh dear, you're still a little bit sad. I don't blame you. Alexis still hasn't recovered from Lisa's harsh words. A gloominess has overtaken her. It's as if she has become an entirely different person. Alexis, I'm sorry about what just happened. Lisa's pretty unbearable when she's angry, isn't she? No, I understand. You don't have to apologize. After all, I'm the one who asks for your help. I need to be more responsible, like Lisa said. If anything, I'm sorry that I got you into this mess. The red-hair's eyes dart around nervously. Why is that the case? It's kind of hard to explain, but let's just say that old habits don't die, they hibernate. Old habits? I don't get it. Does she mean she used to have a bad habit of asking for help? That doesn't sound so bad. Everyone needs help sometimes. That's just natural. I was going to say that's just nature. Either way, actually that does happen in nature. Anyways, either way, this probably isn't the time to press her about it, especially not when she was just lectured by Lisa. I see, yeah, old habits can really come back to bite you, huh? No kidding. There's not like an on or off switch, but you can flip whenever you want. Glad she's happy again. In that way, habits are like rain clouds. All you can do is either get an umbrella or run away. Run far, far away. And you don't have to deal with them whenever they come knocking at your door, I guess. Life isn't kind enough to plan around your schedule. Rain clouds are. Sounds dismissal, but it makes sense the way you put it. Alexis suddenly steps back, pensively glancing towards Basine and talking as if she's thinking out loud. It's true. It's true. But why else would they come, you know? It's not like I asked for them. I'm sure no one else would either. Kinda like Mizari. She didn't ask for trouble before the townsfolk. It's not like she wants to be whisked away to live with the Demon King. Who would want to have her life constantly put in danger? Well, I sure wouldn't. Yeah, exactly. Which reminds me, Lissa, that city girl, does she still... You know... If only she could see. What are you referring to? Hello there, Mayu. I can see you there in the background there. An abrupt, angry grunt interrupts our conversation. Alexis and I take it as our cue to stop disrupting the people around us. One other individual. Guess I was being too loud again, huh? I'm sorry about that. It seems like I kept getting you into trouble today. And anyway, I definitely can't have Mayu mad at me as well. By the end of the day, you'll probably hate me too. I don't... Ugh, this is bad. Very bad. It's okay, Alexis, don't worry about it. That won't happen, I promise. Well, I shall probably get back to work now. I'll talk to you later. Yeah, later. I don't know what to make of Alexis's predicament. Nonetheless, the reality is there's no time for me to be concerned about Alexis's lack of sense of responsibility. I return to my desk and begin my duties for the day. I have some catching up to do, so I'll have to work a little quicker today. Before I know it, the afternoon quickly comes around. Time always seems to fly when I become immersed in writing. Alright everyone, you know what time it is? Step away from your computers and start heading downstairs. You know the drill. What's happening now, boss? You don't have to tell me twice, hehe. Alexis. Aww, you aren't still mad about this morning, are you? Well, how's your work coming? It's, going... Yeah, you need to be more confident. Confidence in your words, not just what you say, but the confidence in them. Good enough? I suppose I've cooled down a bit. Yay! Then let's share a plate of Geisel flared too. What? Why me? As an apology for earlier, of course. You said that like he has no responsibility in what happened. But I guess that doesn't really matter now, huh? As long as you've both learnt your lessons. I sure have. Me too. Alright, I'm trusting you two. Yay! Smiles all round. Well, half of us are. I'll do you proud. Especially if we get a triple serving of Geisel. Why do I get the feeling I'll be the one footing the bill for all of that? I'll split the bill with you, Lissa. Hehe, thank you guys. The three of us eagerly headed downstairs for the lunch break, following behind the rest of the office. Yay! And here we are. Lovely restaurant time. I take my place at the end of the line. In front of me, Alexis is facilitating between udon and a teriyaki chicken rice bowl. Lissa is waiting in the line adjacent to ours. She most likely picked out her order hours ago. Finally, Mayu, standing directly behind Lissa, is intensely staring at the menu plastered above the register. I haven't brought a lunch to work since I was first hired at the studio because it's actually cheaper to dine here than buy ingredients at the grocery store. It's a plus that the food here is extremely delicious too. It's always a bonus when that's a goodie thing. The owners of the restaurant are gracious enough to grant our whole company a sizable discount off every meal as a thank you for renting the upper floor of this building, which they own. I sometimes wonder whether this is a better deal for them or us. I think it benefits both factors. A triple serving of Geisel and a bowl of beef udon, please. You weren't kidding about that, were you? I never joke about food. I am insulted that you don't know that even after all this time. Nah, now look at the one who's angry. Lovely. Everyone who works here looks forward to lunchtime. It's not only about filling our stomachs, it's a time to unwind and refresh ourselves a bit. It reins the excess stress from the workday. Alexis pats me on the shoulder as she heads off. But that's her way of saying thank you for buying my food. You're up next. Get your head out of the clouds. Shut up. It's better to be in the clouds than in the underworld. Like clockwork, I'm waved up to the counter by the smiling employee. Your order, sir? I have an idea of where I want to go. I would like some spicy ramen, please. I briefly look over my shoulder and notice that everyone seems to be heading back upstairs. I'll have the spicy yuzu ramen to go. Sure, I'll have it ready for you as soon as possible. Flare, right? Right. After paying, I decide to wait near Mayu, who also seems to be waiting for her order. Her gaze is affixed to the tiled floor. She almost seems to be observing the many black business casual shoes that stand lined up. She doesn't seem to notice me standing next to her. On the other hand, she may be deliberately ignoring me. Mayu has always been a difficult person to read. It's like a book without a cover. In any case, I decide not to disturb her. After 20-some minutes, the waitress calls out 2 orders of yuzu ramen. Mayu and I simultaneously approach the counter to grab our orders. When our eyes meet, she looks at me perplexedly. Huh? Why are... The brunette fidgets around with her plastic bowl, awkwardly trying to get a firm hold on her meal. For whatever reason, she seems flustered today. Oh dear. After fumbling with the ramen for far too long, she pulls it against her chest and begins rushing towards the stairwell. Oh dear. On the way up, however, she manages to trip on her own 2 feet. The bowl flies out of her hands, clambering against the floor and spilling its contents in every which way. The ground is covered with citrus-scented goodness, and her skirt is peppered with unfortunate bright red flecks of soup. One of her ankles appears to be slightly twisted underneath her, the broth painting a glimmer than reality picture. Everyone in the restaurant is suddenly in a commotion, uncertain of what to make of the situation. There seems to be a bad case of the bystander effect. Are you okay, Mayu? Jeez, that looked like a bad fall. Huh? What should we do? Well, help. That could be the one thing. You two. And myself. What should we do? Someone should help my... What do you mean someone? You can do it if you've got the mouthful to say that. I don't waste any time. I volunteer myself for the task. My lunch can wait a bit longer. It's okay, guys. Go on ahead of us. I'll take care of this. Thank you, Flare. I'm glad to see you're such a stand-up person. Let me know as soon as you're back in the office. Come, Alexis. You need to get straight back to work. Okay, if you say so. Hey, boss lady has a name. I hope your ankle doesn't hurt too much, Mayu. The 2 women managed to safely travel past the soupy puddle as I rushed to the scene and crouched to Mayu's level. Ouch. With her knees bent, she leans against the weight of her own arm to hold herself off the floor. Here, I'll help you stand. I offer my hand, but the brunette only gives me an awkward blank stare. One might think I just said something outlandish. No, it's okay. I don't need your help, Flare. Are you sure? Yes, thank you. I'm fine on my own. She seems very perplexed. Why are you so perplexed? I'm only offering my help. The woman starts to get up, but swiftly stumbles over herself once more. I immediately hop to her side to prevent her from toppling over. Sorry. There's no need to apologize. Stuff happens. Not to me. You must live a pretty good life then, huh? With Mayu's arm hanging around my neck, we inch our way up to the stairs as carefully as we manage. After a while, I managed to get her safely to the office. Thank you again, Flare. Nah. You are most welcome. The brunette turns away from me, clearly trying to avoid making eye contact. Considering how little she talks to everyone, I'm not overly surprised. Yeah, don't mention it. Oh, hey, why don't I just give you my lunch? I got the spicy uzu ramen too, and I'm not all that hungry anyway. What do you say? Mayu's amber eyes sparkle with delight. Aww. Would you really? It's not a joke. I'm serious. It's the least I can do. I'm sure you need it more than I do. Oh, but I left it downstairs. Wait right here and I'll get it for you. Okay. Nah. Thank you, Flare. For everything, we've barely done anything. After retrieving my lunch, I hand it to Mayu. She cradles the bowl as if it's a gift that's valuable beyond words. Aww. I hope it hasn't cooled down too much. That's okay. Yuzu ramen is even good cold. I think Mayu just loves ramen either way. Oh, I see. Well, I'm glad you're feeling a bit better. Mayu, how's your ankle feeling? Lisa's commanding but worried voice rings out from across the office, and the woman herself soon comes bounding over. Flare, didn't I tell you to let me know as soon as you were back? Hey, I kinda had to get my lunch too, you know. Oh, sheesh. No, you're right. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Well, never mind, I suppose. Anyway, I brought you an ice pack, Mayu. That should help to reduce the swelling on your ankle. I have some painkillers too, if you need them. Sounds good idea. It doesn't hurt that badly. Actually, I'll be fine. Despite Mayu's protest, Lissa kneels down to care for the brunette's ankle. Make sure to continue pressing down on it, okay? Go as easy with your work as you need. Just focus on getting better. Okay, Lissa. It looks like Mayu is in good hands, so I decide to take my leave. I swiftly return to my desk to get back to work, but I hear Lissa and Mayu chat for a while longer. At some point, Alexis tries to join in but is quickly scolded. Of course she is. The hours fly by and the rest of the day passes without incident. By the end of it, I'm excited to head home and get a good night's sleep. Nonetheless, the thought of Mayu being in discomfort bothers me. I wonder if there's something I can do to help alleviate it. I reach over to collect my belongings and pack up for the evening. Afterward, I make my way towards Mayu's desk. It's rare to see you come this way, Flare. Is there anything you need? I look over to find Mayu staggering a bit, leaning against Lissa for balance. Well, I was thinking I could maybe take Mayu home, you know, make sure she gets there safe and sound. I don't think it's a good idea for her to go home alone in that condition. I understand that you're concerned, but you don't need to worry. Mayu can handle it herself. A little fall won't put anyone on crutches. I turn back to Mayu, although she hasn't said a word. When our eyes meet, a slight smile breaks upon her lips. Are you sure? I mean, it'd still be good for her to have some extra help tonight, right? Once again, there's no need for you to be overly concerned, Flare. Mayu is a grown adult who can take care of herself. Besides, I know she wouldn't be comfortable with that. She wouldn't dare allow a man she's barely acquainted with to come into with friends here. That's besides the point. You know, I honestly haven't even considered that. I guess it wasn't such a good idea. Exactly. I appreciate the thought, and I'm sure Mayu does, but this isn't the time for you to try and play hero. You should trust that Mayu can handle things on her own, as with any other grown woman. Okay, Flare, you'll never get a girlfriend if you can't come to understand. Okay, fine, if you're gonna be like that. Well, I don't care. I don't. I'm gonna go against the grain here and insist on helping. I still think I should do something. Even the smallest of gestures can make a big difference. Lissa folds her arms, remain obstinate in her position. No, it's okay. Why don't you give me your phone number instead? I can text you when I get home. I certainly never expected Mayu to want to exchange numbers with me. We barely spoken out loud. That sounds like a great idea to me. Sure, I'd like that. She immediately pulls out her cell phone, quickly entering and saving my phone number. Thanks again. Yeah, it was no problem. Well, I guess I'll be heading on home then. I'll see you both tomorrow. See you in the morning, Flare. But bye, Flare. Nervous, enigmatic, mystery. Now we're home. As I get home, Mayu sent a text to let me know that she's feeling fine and grateful for my helping her out. A little pain in the ankle is nothing special, she says. Well, I'm glad it's not anything too bad. I can rest easy now. Yay! As I step into the office, I begin running through my usual morning routine. I plot an agenda for the day, review my drafts, check my emails, and lastly, consult with my colleagues. Considering how often Alexis comes around, however, consult with colleagues part usually happens first. But again, consulting sounds way too formal for someone as lazy and carefree as Alexis. Okay, yeah, maybe that is definitely an assumption and a possibility, because consulting would be a formal way for, let's say, Mayu or Lissa, but Alexis doesn't sound like a compatible word. Maybe just discussing. Now that I think of it, it's already 20 minutes to wait. Alexis should have popped around the corner with a sweet sunny smile to greet me and comment on the weather a while ago. I haven't heard a peep from Lissa yet either. She normally would have noticed Alexis absent by now and approached me to complain about how she needs to be punctual and take her job seriously. I get up from my desk to look around, hoping Mayu may know whatever's going on. On my way to her cubicle, I suddenly hear the loud echoes of someone frantically stomping up the stairs. Okay, what's going to happen now? Guys, I'm sorry. Everything is okay. I'm not dead. Don't worry, we can hear you loud and clear. I just had to... Shut up, Alexis. We know that this is a classic lie to try and cover up the fact that something else happened. You forgot to wake up, you forgot to have breakfast, you forgot to do your hair, you forgot to do your makeup, you forgot to do something that is important. Ooh, heck, you even forgot to go to the toilet this morning, for goodness sakes. No. Okay, now that's just exaggerating it. Aww. Really, two cats? What are the chances that not one but two cats would be stuck in the very same tree at the same time? It was difficult and painful so make an exception for my tardiness just this once, please. I promise I won't be late ever again. Oh, Flare, thank goodness you're here. Where's Lissa? She's not going to fire me, is she? Alexis waddles toward me, her hair frazzled and hands against her knees as she tries to catch her breath. Whoa, take it easy there. No one's going to fire you. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Exactly. Have you seen her yet? Tell me that you haven't heard her while I was late. I don't want her to be mad at me again, especially not twice in a row. This is scary, you know. Well, maybe you should be more serious, and then Lissa's scariness will not be as apparent. I don't know how you could stand to be around her, Flare. It's okay, just relax, Alexis. I haven't seen her at all this morning. I was about to go to Mayu's desk to ask what was happening, but I have a feeling she might not be here either. I have a feeling that they both might be together. Alexis lets out a sigh of relief. Thank the heavens! My life is saved. You have no idea how worried I was getting. Like, my alarm didn't go off this morning, and then I lost track of time while I was in the shower. I didn't have time to do my hair. After that, I went to make breakfast, but the damn toaster wouldn't cooperate with me. And then I had to take the trash out. Okay, here we go with the excuses. But the struggle is real, you know what I mean? Sure, I think I do at least. Yeah, so please, Flare, please, don't tell Lissa or Mayu that I was late today. I'll make it worth your while too. I promise I'll pay for your lunch today. How about it? No, you're not baiting us with food. Do we have a deal? I do feel bad for Alexis. I don't think I could bear the sight of Alyssa screaming at her again. There's only so much conflict resolution I can handle. You have my word, this'll be a secret between you and me. The woman squeals in the most hyperactive, cutesy, magical way I've ever heard to date. It almost sounds like she's just won the lottery, but I think the other two might not be far behind. Yay! Oh, Flare, you're the best, you really are. Sure. Well, okay, let's get to business, man. We'll act like we normally do and work our butts off like nothing ever happened. No one will suspect. Shut up, Alexis. Yeah, let's get to work. With our genius plans, it's not genius at all. Those two are far too smart to suspect otherwise. Alexis and I return to our respective desks to start the workday. Still, I can't help but wonder why Mayu and Lissa are so late. An hour and a half passes before Lissa and Mayu finally shows up at the office. Yay! I get to meet them. Surprisingly, Alexis mimics my movements almost perfectly. Sorry everybody, I know we're late, but rest assured that it was urgent. I hope it wasn't any trouble while we were gone. No worries, I understand, things happen. Lissa subtly raises an eyebrow as she turns to Alexis. Meanwhile, Mayu slowly Why is this all of a sudden? I want to thank you again for your help yesterday, Flare. I know it might not be much, but please allow me to pay for your lunch today. Now we have two contenders. At least Mayu's reason is a little more understandable. It's the least I can do. Oh, thank you for your offer, Mayu. But Alexis has actually already agreed to pay for me. Lissa, I know she would catch on. Lissa turns to me wearing a face of concern as she puts a hand on her hip. Really, and why? Pray tell, is that? Why today of all days, Flare? Before I reply, Alexis mutters up whatever excuse she can think of, or perhaps already had prepared. Because after what you told me yesterday, I had to change. No, this is not believable. This is so not believable. I decided I wanted to be a more responsible person, and the first step of that was to make amends with Flare. Believe me, you have much more than just that. Listen, I now understand I should have asked him for your help with my work. Shouldn't have. I was wrong. The redhead puts her hands together and bows to Lissa under the pretense of appearing humble. You're just making yourself more susceptible. You really know how to put a show on, don't you, Alexis? Yeah, that's right. Show. I'm not buying this for a second, not one. No, I swear it's true. It's how I really feel. I'm a changed person. Yeah, I can vouch for her. She's trying her best to make a difference. She insisted that paying for my lunch was the first step in her rehabilitation, as she called it. It's not a complete lie. Alexis is obviously trying to prove she's more reliable than we think. Oh, I don't want to be on this team. I really don't want to be on this team. Why am I speaking like this? Why are we helping Alexis out? That she's an important member of the studio, a bait in her own quirky way. Well, this is an interesting scenario we've got here. I don't recall you ever coming to Alexis' defense before, Flare. Normally you quite listen to whatever I have to say and then agree with me. Lissa's dark eyes widen as she grows more and more suspicious of our story. So, after all the issues we discussed yesterday, what you're telling me is that Alexis is a good worker. That, for whatever godforsaken reason, she has finally committed to changing herself for the better. All in one measly day? Is this still Alexis that we're talking about? You do know how absurd this all sounds, right, Flare? I freeze up. I can't dispute the logic behind Lissa's words. You need to have the brain power of two cats stuck in a tree together to believe otherwise. Yeah. See, it's not hard for me to tell when there's something wrong. I don't even have to ask, and to tell by the looks on your faces. In fact, let me guess. I bet the reason Alexis wants to, out of nowhere, mind you, pay for your lunch flare is that she can prevent you from snitching to me that she was late for work. Am I correct or am I correct? Yeah, don't you look defeated. On the verge of tears, Alexis lowers her head and lets out a muffled sniff. It's not like I expected any more from you. Of you, not that I wouldn't love a surprise. Mayu, Flare, please go to your desks and begin working. We're wasting our time here, and we have a release to prepare for. If either of you need anything, I won't be long. Just hold tight for a bit, okay? With a step forward, Lissa sternly crosses her arms. Alexis, please follow me into my office. Yes, Lissa. Mayu and I awkwardly watch women disappear into the back room. The brunette, apparently uncertain what to do, plays with her hair. As much as I should get to work, I don't want to walk away and be rude. So, Flare, did you get a good night's sleep? Yeah, I guess. What about you? Me too. And how's your work going? I've been making progress, I suppose. Things are easier now that I've been at it for a few months. Oh, great. Cool. Are you feeling any better today? The brunette immediately gazes down at the floor, silently blushing me off. Mayu, are you okay? I received no response. Damn it, Mayu is back to ignoring me again, it seems. No, Mayu, it was nice while it lasted, but I should have known it would be short-lived. I return to my desk to resume my daily routine, carrying on with the work I need to finish before this afternoon. Before I know it, my favourite time of day, lunch, finally comes around. I raise from my seat, stretch my legs and head down to the restaurant considering my meal options. Oh, we know what to grab. Okay. As I step behind the short line of people waiting to order, I spot Lissa and Mayu together. Like the two peas in a pod they are. I search the room to see if Alexis is somewhere here too, but I can't find her. Hey Lissa, do you know if Alexis is going to eat lunch with us? I don't think so. I think she's been punished badly. She won't be joining us today. As much as I'm against punishing you all, she still needs to make up for lost time. I mean, I am not doing this because I want to. The problem is that her being late by even a few hours will throw our whole schedule off, since she already gets distracted enough as it is. Besides, at worst, Alexis being late undermines her credibility as someone I can rely on. This is Lissa, alright, finicky about what characteristics people should or shouldn't have, and always trying to justify in roundabout ways. To be considered a model individual in her mind, one needs to meet her standards. Precisely because of that, I can't help but think she's acting hypocritically right now. She may arrive at the office far later than Alexis did. By her own logic, shouldn't both of them suffer the consequences as well? Unfortunately, with hierarchy, that doesn't really work. I don't mean to speak out of turn, but isn't it unfair to call out someone else for being late when you're equally culpable? I don't mean to speak out of turn, but isn't it unfair to call out someone else for being late when you're equally culpable? Wait, I've already just read that. Quite honestly, it seems like you're mistreating her out of personal resentment. Oh dear, the woman glares at me, radiating with the fighting intensity of a hunter preparing to call her prey. Huh. No. Don't you dare accuse me of anything so petty again. Do you honestly believe I would stoop so low, Flare? Mayu and I were late because I had to escort her to the hospital this morning. She told me the swelling in her ankle got worse overnight, and I wanted to make sure it didn't go untreated. Unlike Alexis, who was late because of rather dubious reasons, do you see the difference here? Or should I take it from the top? No, I understand. I awkwardly scratch the back of my neck. Sorry for all the trouble. I mean, I didn't know, but there was no excuse. It's fine, Flare. I knew you wanted to make sure your co-worker was treated fairly, and it was an admirable pursuit. Even so, you really should consider every single factor before you come to any conclusions. In my experience, it'll save you a lot of trouble. Duly noted. In other words, I think it's our turn to order. Let's not waste any time, shall we? The cashier calls... Gosh, it's really raining out there. The cashier calls the two of us up to the register. Thankfully, we're ordering as a group today, so there's no need for the awkward fumbling of cash or credit cards. Go ahead, Flare. You can order first. I think we know what we're going for. We're going to go for ramen again. I'll have the usual ramen. Coming right up. After Mayu and Lissa have put in their orders, the three of us sit ourselves near the front of the restaurant. Lissa and I idly chat, Mayu only giving the occasional nod until our meals arrive. 2 chicken yakisobas and 1 spicy yuzu ramen are placed front and center. Considering I've never seen Mayu eat anything except ramen, it's hard for me to contain my surprise. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's dig in. I grab a few noodles and a bite of meat with my chopsticks, trying to sample everything together, the tartar for citrus and the punch from the spice that is soaked into the noodles, which are doubtlessly made in store, perfectly complement the savoury, lightly seasoned pork. I glance over at Lisa to find her digging into her plate. Yay! Food! As well, Mayu, however, has barely touched the food. She simply sits there, staring idly at her dish. Mayu, are you feeling okay? You've barely touched your food. Yeah, that's a bit concerning. Please, try to eat as much as you can, Mayu. You can't be starving yourself when your body needs the energy to ensure your ankle heals properly. After pushing a piece of chicken around with her chopsticks, Mayu grimaces and lifts a morsel to her lips. It's clear that she isn't enjoying the yakisoba. Why don't you switch meals with me? Her face immediately lights up. Are you sure? Here, take it. I slide over my bowl of ramen when she pushed her plate across the table. Within minutes, Mayu has happily slurped up all the noodles and each of us have finished our meals. With lunch behind us, we return to the office. An hour into the afternoon, I hear a loud commotion from nearby. Already having a good idea of what's happening, I peek my head over my computer monitor and suddenly watch the event unfold. Whoa. Looks like roles have been switched here. Alexis is sitting at her desk, apparently mildly frustrated. I assume she's still stuck on the spriting stage of another character. Lissa, meanwhile, seems to be personally supervising Alexis's work. Why isn't this going right? Like, what the hell? See? I swear I'm going to chuck this damn stylus at the screen. Cooperate with me, why don't you? Maybe you should take a short break. Yelling and complaining certainly aren't going to inspire you. No! Shut it! I can do this! Just stop watching over my shoulder and go away! You're killing my creativity! No, really, please, I insist. You're being a distraction to everyone around you. She ignores Lissa, however, as she attempts to muscle through her frustrations, erasing and brushing over the hands of a demon character, hoping that she could get the shading right. This unproductivity process continues for some time, as Lissa still looms over her, unhappy about how paranoid Alexis seems to be. Sorry. Come on! Stop it, you dear. Move like I want you to. Alexis, please listen to me. I don't want to have to repeat myself again. Take a break, okay? Despite Lissa's best efforts, the frustration is still visibly building on Alexis's face, her plump cheeks reddening. No. You know what, Lissa? I've had it with you. Oh dear. Oh dear, screw this and screw you. Damn it all. Ugh. The redhead grabs a pen from her desk and chucks it against the back wall, an app cracking sounds ringing out. Mayu, annoyed by all of the noise, races from her seat and stomps her way towards the restroom. Alexis, pull yourself together and start acting your age. You need to learn to control your anger and not take it out on other people like a child. I'm sorry for being so blunt, but I am honestly not sure how else I can get through to you at this point. In any case, throwing things and screaming won't help anyone, so you need to cut it out before you do something you'll regret. Ha! Now that you think this is a problem, why the hell does everything have to be a problem for you? Like, why do you even care how I act? Am I only a huge failure in your eyes, Lissa? Is that it? Stop with this self-deprecating nonsense, Alexis. I asked you to take a break, and now you're putting your insecurities on display for the entire world. Quite frankly, this isn't a good look on you. I haven't even addressed your little personal attacks either. The artist suddenly pushes her chair out and stands, wiping the tears from her eyes with her sleeve. I've had it with you, Lissa. Take my break, my ass. It's always do this or do that, Alexis. You're not working hard enough, Alexis. Do you think I'm some slave to you? All you ever done is make my life worse, Lissa. Some friend you are. Whoa. Hands clenched over and her hair undone, the redhead grabs her purse and storms out of the office. What is this going to get out of? I like saving before oh well, I didn't even save when the second meal came around. Well, I could just make room for that. I love saving when the choices come up, so I can just recap on where I've been before. Let's pursuit. After giving it some thought, I decided to go after Alexis to try and calm her down. I find the redhead sitting on the curb outside the building, peering off to the side of the road. Hey Alexis, are you feeling okay? What do you think, Flare? Want to talk about it? That is, if you don't mind. Did Lissa send you down here? Is that it? Making a little boyfriend do her dirty work so she doesn't have to deal with it herself? I think there's been a slight misunderstanding. Lissa and I aren't dating, and she didn't send me over. No one did, for that matter. I'm here because I'm worried about you and because I want to be. Okay, the woman slightly tilts her head towards me, reluctantly removing her hands from her eyes. Then, explain to me why you two are so close. This doesn't make any sense to me. Oh well, we actually grew up together. I've known her since way before she ever started the company. No wonder. Better than dating, I suppose. I can't imagine how anyone in their right mind could possibly put up with someone as blanky as Lissa. Then again, if you were actually dating her, I might have flirted with you. Right in her face too. So no, that's not the correct way of going about in life. And stop with those empty soulless eyes. I want to rub her smug face in blank. I want her to feel the same worthlessness she makes me feel time and time again. And I'll see how she likes it. I never realised Alexis could be so vicious. I wonder what happened to her usual sweet happy-go-lucky self. What the heck? Do you even hear what you're even saying? For someone who's supposed to be friends with Lissa, you're being pretty cruel. Friends? Oh, but we are. You clearly don't understand how things with her work. You might think you know everything about Lissa since you're privileged enough to be her childhood friend, but telling you that you haven't seen anything yet. Have you lived with her, Flare? Or rather, have you lived and worked with her? I guarantee you would have regretted having to go through all the trouble she caused if you were in my place. See, being her roommate was a living hell. And to work for her and dare speak a single word against her regime is a whole other level of madness you clueless people wouldn't be able to handle in your lifetime. If there's one bit of advice you'll get from me is that you should never work with your friends. So you're saying that we aren't friends, Alexis? I don't care if you're still all hunky-dory with them, or you were pen pals or some whatever that is. If there's one... Okay, yep. They will drive you insane. The woman's eyes dip towards the ground as she sighs. The closer you are, the more intense it becomes. Working for Lissa is worse than you could ever imagine. While I obviously understand that Lissa has her flaws and can certainly be dismissive on how others feel, it's hard for me to believe she's half as bad as Alexis claims. We used to get along so well, you know, before you came around. We would take turns carpooling to work and we'd have a block. Okay, I'm struggling to think if this is actually true or not. After that, we'd both get to the office with some sweet adrenaline highs. Believe it or not, I even got my work done on time properly. What we had worked. Then we'd go home together, and Lissa and I would still enjoy each other's company. Maybe on a good day I'd make her dinner. Or she might buy dinner for the two of us. Who knows? We'd do whatever we wanted. If we wanted, when we wanted. Because the point is that we were living by the day, in the present, not giving a care about what should come next. Life was a breeze, but it lasted for the first few months we lived together. God knows why, but after that she got fed up with me. Now, I hate that conceited two-face. I mean, I'd quit in a heartbeat if I could. I don't know what you guys went through, but can't you make it up to her somehow? Treat her to something or go out for a drink? Even if she seems like a roommate like that, you have to give her credit for sticking with you through thick and thin. Isn't that what it means to be good friends? Alexis stares longingly in the distance as if she's reminiscing. You know, when you put it that way, I guess I should be grateful for her. Maybe I should do something to show my appreciation. Well, it won't change the fact that I find her as irritating as ever though. She's still the worst damned boss in existence. Which is okay, as long as you guys stay friends. I'm sure Lissa would understand that friendships have their highs and lows. I don't know about that. Yeah, friendships do. And relationships do as well. Well, we don't have to worry about that right now anyway. Come on, let's get back to the office. Okay. Later in the evening, Alexis is back working her desk while Lissa remains holed up in her office. I don't think any of us have gotten much done after the chaos that ensued hours ago though. I'll pick up ready to call it a day. As I head towards the doorway, Lissa finally emerges from her office. Mayu, could you lock up for us tonight? I would appreciate it. Mayu turns around in a chair and nods. Is something going on, Lissa? You usually lock things up yourself. It's because we're going to the bar together to get wasted just like old times. Doesn't it sound like so much fun? But if I could even comment, Lissa slips around of me and has begun corralling Alexis down the stairs. Alright Alexis, I'm ready, let's get going. Well, we're off now. Toodles everyone, I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Isn't this just such a fun day, isn't it now? Wait, how many save files do we... Oh, do not tell me we have only 6 save slots. We only have 6 save slots, don't we? Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Like a really big problem. That's log. That's load file. Why is there not more than 6 save slots? You need so many in a visual novel. It's just my luck, isn't it? Ask how she feels. Say, Mayu, are you okay with not being invited along by them? The brunette nods her head. It's okay. You weren't invited either? I guess that's true. I stew in silence as I try to grasp whatever's going on through Mayu's mind. The dispirited tone on her body language suggests a brooding sadness, although she denies it. Twiddling her thumb, she continues to stare at my feet. Would you mind if I stayed behind a little longer? You probably shouldn't. I'll be fine, so you can go. Oh, okay. Goodbye, Flare. Yeah. Wait, did she say good night, Flare? Okay, good night. With that, I turn and head out the door. Oh dear. Each day is just so fun. When I get to the office, I see that everyone has arrived on time. Fortunately, it seems getting wasted has forced neither Lissa or Alex to turn up late. Whoa-wee. Okay folks, so thank you so much for watching. If I have one criticism so far in the game is that there should be a lot more save slots for us to use, because that's how people can quickly return to a previous save point. So I think it's in our best interest to keep, let's say, number 2, because that's the first ever multiple choice thing that we get. So that's always a good thing to stick by, is the very first choice, because whatever path you want to go towards, the first choice is always the most important. But thank you so much for watching guys, and see you all in the next time of our lovely escape. Where are we escaping from though? And why is the escape itself lovely? Well, there's only one way to find out, but we have that and so much more to look forward to in the next time. Have a wonderful day folks, and take care of yourselves.